The Democrats' hope in the Senate comes down to two runoff elections in Georgia. Now, they're going to be on January 5th, and one of those elections is a guy by the name of Jon Ossoff, however you say it. This dude right here, he's running against David Perdue, a guy who's massively corrupt, and there's been stories on his corruption that have broken within the past year or so. Now, Ossoff spoke to Axios and explained his positions in like a rapid fire segment here. Let's take a look.
People want to know what kind of person they're voting for, but I think they also want to know what policies that person supports, what you would do, what you would vote for if you were elected. Let me just do a speed round with you,
okay,
if I can. Do you support the Green New Deal?
No.
Do you support Medicare for all?
No.
Do you support DC statehood?
Yes.
Do you support Puerto Rican statehood?
Yes.
Do you support defunding the police?
No.
Do you support abolishing ICE?
No.
Do you support expanding the Supreme Court?
No.
Do you support ending the filibuster?
Maybe.
This really frustrates me. And this frustrates me because on a lot of those answers, not all of them, but on a lot of those answers, he's against the more popular position. And on some of those answers, he's for the least popular position. But notice the snap answer. This shows you where he thinks conventional wisdom is. But it's only conventional wisdom among corporate Democrats who are insanely out of touch. Chuck Schumer, Nancy Pelosi, the donor class. This is who he's pleasing when he says that stuff. Now they think, oh, but we're electoral geniuses and this is going to help us in elections. Really? Do you not see what just happened? Did you not see that the Democrats lost seats in the House? Did you not see that in the Senate, it was a 75% chance the Democrats were supposed to take over the Senate, and now we'll be lucky if we take over the Senate. It comes down to these runoff elections, and even if they're won, we're still barely getting over the finish line. 50 or 51 votes, whatever it is. Medicare for all, 70% popularity. And he's casually like, yeah, I'm not for that. Green New Deal. The original polls on it were like 85% popularity. It's gone down since because I think they botched the rollout of it. But, I mean, Green New Deal, the fact that Democrats haven't embraced it and also made the parallels to the New Deal, one of the most popular, government initiatives ever in U.S. history, this drives me crazy, man. And then he takes D.C. statehood and Puerto Rican statehood. Now, on the merits of that, there's a much longer conversation to be had. Maybe he's correct on the substance of it. But these are not the ones that are polling at 70%, 80%. For the love of God, dude. For the love of God. Corporate Democrats are so in their own bubble and up their own asses. And listen, what percentage of this is him trying to please his donors and his donors being, big money interests who are against Medicare for all and things of that nature? I don't know. Maybe a decent percentage of this is that. But even from, and this is my main point, even from just a messaging perspective, the fact that he hasn't figured out what the correct answer is to get us to victory, it drives me crazy. Honestly, it's a miracle in the race against Perdue. And granted, Purdue's one of the worst. But he lost. Perdue got like 49.9%. If he got over 50, there would have been no runoff election. He's lucky to get to a runoff. He got 47 or something along those lines. You lost. You got fewer votes than David Perdue. How do you get fewer votes than a super corrupt, even in Georgia, how do you get fewer votes than an obviously corrupt loser? Because are you firing up your people when you talk like this? Of course you're not. Of course you're not. Democrats still haven't figured out, substance aside, that if you run and tell people, I'm going to give you and your family health care, and you're never going to go bankrupt from medical bills, you're never going to have to worry about medical bills again, we're going to catch up to the rest of the developed world and have health care for everybody. Tens of millions of people lost their health care. I'm coming to save you. I'm coming to protect you. I'm going to fix it. That is a popular message. It's a popular message to say, I want to give people jobs. I want to create millions of jobs in this new green and renewable technology sector. We're going to get the patents that the world's going to come to us for the technology of the future, for the energy of the future. This is popular. Make an argument, but you have to believe in it to make an argument. And he doesn't believe in it because he's cut from the same cloth as the rest of them. Now, listen, I'm not saying there's, oh, there's no difference between Ossoff and Perdue. Of course there is. Perdue literally is one of the most corrupt that there is. Okay? And there's been a lot of reporting on that recently. And also I saw today that one of the differences is if Ossoff wins and if the other Democrat wins in this election, that's $1 billion more coming into the state of Georgia, and it'll help go to education and other things. The Republicans are saying no to that aid for Georgia, so Ossoff and the other Democrat would say yes to that aid for Georgia. That changes a lot of people's lives. So it's not like he's as bad as Perdue. Of course he's not. But the point is, for the love of God, we need to destroy the corporatists. I'm not saying unify. This is what AOC does all the... why are you feeding into Republican framing? We need to unify. Unify with what? Complete corporate corrupt hacks? No. You need to defeat the corporatists. I don't want any more corporatists in the Democratic Party because the people are not corporatists. The actual Democratic voters, the American people, they're not pro-corruption. They're not pro-corporatism. This is a party that's been taken over by donors and billionaires and moneyed interests. And that's one of the reasons why he feels like he has to say what he has to say. And again, I do think they're silly enough to have convinced themselves that this is strategically brilliant. Somehow Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer are strategic geniuses, even though they massively underperformed in an election against Donald Trump and this Republican Party. And it's largely their fault because what do? They love doing that distinction, right? They love saying like, oh, Trump is bad, but other Republicans are great. Other elected Republicans are great. They're the good Republicans. Well, congratulations. So Trump goes down barely, and then other Republican politicians do much better than expected, probably because you were also telling people they're not that bad. It drives me crazy, man. How are you're running to be in the Senate, and you put your middle finger up to over 80% of your own party, your own voters. No, I'm not for Medicare for all. No, I'm not for the Green New Deal. This idea, Democrats always have to run away from the things that should be their positions, scared of their own shadow. Again, some of this is they have to please the donors, but a lot of it also is strategically they think this is savvy. It's savvy to take unpopular positions. Again, snap answer yes on Puerto Rico, yes on DC statehood. Snap answer no on Medicare for all and the Green New Deal. By the way, this one might get me in a little trouble, but I'm going to say it anyway. Listen, it's true. Running on abolishing ICE, running on defunding the police, not going to work. Not going to work. Those are not popular. Sorry, they're not. This is some tough love and some medicine here for the left. Am I saying substantively these things are wrong? In terms of abolishing ICE, they are literally running slavery camps at the border where there's lawsuits over it, and it's been found that they have merit, that they're doing forced labor. And you already have Customs and Border Protection, which handles the border. To have ICE, it's unnecessary to have ICE, and it's a new agency that was created in the early 2000s. So substantively, I'm not saying it's wrong. In fact, I think the left is right on abolish ICE. But you don't run on that. You don't run on your least popular fucking positions. How do I have to explain these things? It's so annoying that I have to explain these things. These things should be obvious. So I don't disagree with him on that. I don't disagree with him on running on defunding the police. That is something that the Republicans have capitalized on, and it has helped them. But the final point, and really what is ultimately a white flag, is expanding the Supreme Court and ending the filibuster. For him to basically say, he said maybe for the filibuster, he said no for expanding the Supreme Court. What I need everybody to understand is that means that that's it. Like, that's it. It's over. So we're only going to be able to get as much change as a 6-3 conservative court allows. And a 6-3 conservative court might even slap down your shitty neoliberal half measures. You know? So that's something that these people haven't reckoned with, or they don't care. They either don't realize that the court is going to slap down a lot of progress, or they realize it and they just don't care because it's just more about, I want to be a senator. So I don't really care what gets done. I just want to be a senator. So I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is, but either way, it's pathetic. Democrats are always asked to vote for people who want to half agree with Republicans. And it's like, for the love of God, can you just give me somebody who believes the things that I believe? You know, could you just give me a candidate who I know is going to fight for the things that I want them to fight for? And I'm telling you, they'll trot out the same old arguments. Oh, it's Georgia. You don't understand Georgia. Georgia, is not as far left as you think it is, and blah, 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 blah. And for the love of God, those arguments never make sense, because every time you go to the actual polling data, it's overwhelming for all the policy positions that we love. For living wage, for Medicare for all, you name it. It's always through the roof. And then you got guys like this. No, I'm not for Medicare for all. No, I'm not for a Green New Deal. On top of being wrong substantively, he should be for those things. He's also an idiot strategically. Even if you weren't for those things, I'd say, you should tell people you're for those things. I'm against universal health care in the middle of a pandemic. Congratulations on being a complete moron. FDR is rolling over in his grave looking at this Democratic Party, who always want to compromise on the compromise to the compromise. Go further right, further right, further right, and they think it's politically savvy. It's not savvy. You're an idiot, and you believe in nothing, and nothing's going to get done, and it's going to be your fault.